Hello and welcome to a Law and Order on another Friday evening. Today we're going to talk about a new act that has come to place and the laws and the issues relating and round about that act. That is the new Foreign Exchange Act. Now this has come into force a couple of months ago, but to look into what it is going to do, we go into the heart of the matter tonight with an expert. My expert is none other than Pavitri Vithanage. She's an attorney. She's also the Senior Assistant Director of the Central Bank Legal and Compliance Division. Pavitri, thank you for taking time off your busy schedule. I know you're all very busy, especially coming from the Central Bank these days and coming for the show. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Very well, right. Like I said in my introduction, we'll touch upon other areas as well, but I would like to start off by asking you a question. The new Foreign Exchange Act. Tell me the salient features of this and how it differs from the previous one.
Yes, I should actually tell a lengthy answer, but I would
make a lengthy answer. It doesn't matter because we would want our public to know.
Yeah, because I think one of the most salient features is that it allows people the freedom, the ability to conduct their day-to-day transactions involving foreign exchange. And also, it requires the banks to be aware and also to help people to conduct their business. For example, under the previous act, people would be more compellable or are more compelled to come to the central bank and ask our views before they undertake a foreign exchange related transaction. And actually that is both time and money both for us and also for the public, because it entails trips back and forth to the central bank. But now under the new law, for all exchange related transactions, people actually should go to the bank to authorize dealers and conduct their transactions. The bank will take a decision whether that transaction can take place or not. If it's a refusal, they are supposed to give reasons for refusal, and then at that point the public can come to the central bank for revisal of a decision. So I think it's really good. It takes the country forward. There is hardly any intervention by the regulator for day-to-day transactions by the public. So I think that's more or less the intention of bringing the new law. And as we go along, I will explain about the areas.
Yeah. So what was the necessity to do this? Because were there complaints so much about the previous acts that the exact things what you said, the opposite was the situation?
Well, actually, it was the idea that the exchange controls, were making people a little, I should say that they were scared to take up certain transactions because the word control is there.
Over-control? Yeah.
Control. The word control was actually, I think, putting a lot of people off. And when a foreign investor would come to Sri Lanka and they search the internet for related laws in investment, they would come across this Exchange Control Act. And in most of the countries in the world now, there are no exchange control laws.
Right.
So they have exchange management laws.
Right.
So we wanted to be, and also the previous law had been there for a long time. So I think it's high time also to introduce a new law with the necessary safeguards to prevent abuse. But then certainly it's a way forward.
Right. So you made a very important point because one of the things about Sri Lankan overall law, I'll go into the other areas later, is that we have controlling legislation coming from traditional British, and it's time to move on. So you said other countries don't have exchange control laws, but exchange management laws. Can we say our new act is also exchange management law?
Yes. In fact, most of the sections, I should say, 99% of the sections are allowing people to conduct their transactions. They are actually enabling provisions. If you look at the Exchange Control Act, the controlling part is there in the law itself, where it says no person can carry out a transaction, no company should carry out a transaction. So it's more like a restrictive law. But this is an enabling law. And I think in that sense, if the banks will actually undertake to implement the provisions correctly, the public should feel a major difference with the new law being in place.
Right. Let me start the next question with an exemplary situation which would generally fit into any probable investment. My question I'm going to ask you is about investment in Sri Lanka, the laws relating. But take a situation like this. Somebody wants to invest in a particular company which has won a tender or some project. And generally, as you would know, local companies who would do a tender or a private project or whatever, in order to facilitate that, will get foreign funding. Now, when this is coming in, what is the law that operates, or what is the law other than the formation of a company through BOI and all that? What is the law that comes into play? And in terms of the new act, how does this play out?
Okay, that's a very important question. I should say that that is an area where a lot of questions are asked.
Exactly.
And we also want to give real clarity to that situation because we want foreign investments to come to Sri Lanka.
Yes.
So when a local company is formed, they need capital. So capital can come by way of equity or debt. Now, even under the previous law, the pathway was quite simple. The investment should come through the securities investment account. Under the new law, one of the best steps that had been taken by the Director of Foreign Exchange is to amalgamate all the accounts into a few accounts. So like 18 accounts are now taken into about 5-6. So that's a good thing, so that the investor doesn't have to think as to which account to bring and all that. So when the money is brought to the country, that investor should open an investment account, that is an inward investment account, or IIA. So the investment can come to Sri Lanka into an IIA opened in the name of the foreign investor. And then when those funds come into the IIA, those funds can flow out to the investee company, the Sri Lankan company. It could be by way of equity or it could be by way of debt. If it is debt, it has to be a long-term loan that is not repayable within 3 years. So it has to be a 3+ maturity loan. So yes, that is the way forward. There are only few steps to take. I mean, we have not made it complicated. So if the money comes to an IIA or inward investment account, the money can also go out through the same account. So there is no need for the approval of the central bank. There is no further requirement of providing any documentation. Only thing that the foreign investor has to do is to bring the funds through the inward investment account.
Yeah. If I may to ask, this IIA, isn't it something similar to the CI account, or is it the same thing?
It is actually IIA is formed by amalgamating two accounts. SIA, that is the Securities Investment Account, and the SFIDA account, that is Special Foreign Investment Deposit Account. So it has features of both accounts. It is almost like the SIA account, but with the amalgamation of SFIDA, we expect that it would have better features.
More facility for the
investor. And also because previously we had an account called there was a scheme, external commercial borrowing scheme, and there was an account called external commercial borrowing account, through which a company which is desirous of borrowing from overseas can channel the funds into. But now there is no requirement of opening such accounts. One can do all the borrowing, all the investments through the IIA account. So that actually eases the stress on the system to open and manage many accounts.
Right. Now, when this money comes, you said you can get it transferred or take a loan out of it to the local. That has to be in rupees.
Well, in the IIA, we have given permission for several investments. Now, investments can be in shares, can be in loans. And we have also recognized investment into shares where foreign companies have listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange. So, steps have been taken by the Colombo Stock Exchange, and when that happens, there will be a dollar, if there is a dollar listed board, then that dollar investment can come. And also SLDBs, which are investments that are channeled in US dollars. So, it could be, if the investment is in Sri Lanka rupees, then the investment will have to be a rupee investment. If the product is a dollar product, then it can be a dollar investment, because IIA account can be either Sri Lanka rupees or in any other designated foreign currency.
Okay. The next question, I'm sure you would have faced with this, but as an attorney, I have also faced from clients, and what all investors have a question against us is that, okay, I bring the investment, and now I may invest in a X company, and then we do a project for 10 years. Then I'm taking the money back. Now there are restrictions by central bank, or was there, or were in the past. What is the situation in this? Can he only take what he brought? Can he take the profit, or how does it work?
Well, actually, at all times since the introduction of the SIA account and even introduction of the Sierra account in 1991, it has always been possible for an investor who brings funds through the correct channel to take the money out. There has been no restrictions whatsoever by the central bank. However, sometimes we find that due to maybe even attorneys may be at fault, the proper advice not being given to the client at the right time, the investor brings funds through various other means by not channeling their funds into the country through the proper account.
Right.
At that point, the bank would be asking for documentation to prove that the funds have been invested in Sri Lanka. As you would also appreciate, that is necessary, that anyone who converts Sri Lanka rupees and takes out of the country should actually prove that the initial investment has been made. So upon that particular confirmation being given to the bank can be satisfied under the new act. The bank can be satisfied and the bank can send the money out. And that means both capital and the capital gain. So if it is shares, if the investment into shares had come initially through an IIA or previous SIA, both the sale proceeds of shares can go out as well as dividends that have been earned. So any profits, everything can flow out without any restriction. There is no need to come to the central bank for any permission.
Right. Now the other thing is when Sri Lankans want to invest outside. Yeah. Now, there are several things, maybe major investment, buying a property in Dubai or some country, or Sri Lankans want to have a foreign currency account, and also the migration allowance, we call it. I'm just tagging 3 areas for you to maybe, because of our timing issue. What is the new law says about this?
Yeah, investment outside Sri Lanka is possible in 2 ways. Yeah. You spoke about having a property, like say
buying a property.
Buying a property.
Yeah.
Now, buying a property is possible if you fund it through your personal foreign currency account or your business foreign currency account. Because there are no restrictions. If you have foreign currency with you in your account, you can use it for any current or capital transaction outside Sri Lanka. So that's a big permission given for those foreign exchange earners. You earn as much, you spend that much. There are no restrictions. However, if you are going to convert Sri Lanka rupees and make an investment outside Sri Lanka, there is a pathway called the OIA, or the Outward Investment Account. Then we have stated specifically as to what investments you can make. For example, it would be shares, it would be sovereign bonds issued by foreign states, it could be debt instruments, and also for companies setting up of branches. So those investments actually has to be channeled by through an account called OIA, or an Outward Investment Account. For an individual, for lifetime, the limit is $200,000, and for a company that is listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange, it is $2 million per annum. So there is a spectrum of investments.
$2 million
per annum.
Million.
Yeah,
okay.
So that's a major amount, because under the previous law it was $500,000. So it's 2 million. You can take it in any designated foreign currency, the equivalent amount. So that is investing outside Sri Lanka. So there are 2 channels. Your own funds in dollars can be, in foreign currency, can be invested outside Sri Lanka, or conversion of rupees is permitted via the OIA into designated investment products. Then migration. Migration is a hot topic. Everybody asks about migration. Yes, migration allowance also has been enhanced under the new law. An adult migrant is entitled to take $200,000 as a capital allowance. And after taking that $200,000, upon the expiry of 12 months, they are entitled to take $30,000 as an annual allowance. That is the first allowance. The second allowance, on a calendar basis, $30,000 per annum can be taken. However, if the source of funds is the EPF, the Employees Provident Fund benefits, or ETF, or any superannuation benefits like gratuity, those can flow out without being computed into those $200,000 or $30,000 amount. And also any current income like rent, interest earned, can also flow out without being computed. So that's a major, I should say, major change in this new law.
Right. Now, accepting foreign currency by a person conducting business in Sri Lanka, or a person, a professional, or employee, we'll see a computer IT person, or somebody, or a lawyer, or an accountant, receiving foreign payment as a professional fee or as a salary, and receiving money, foreign currency, by doing a business. These 3 areas. What is the law in that?
Yes, that is again another hot topic, I should say. People inquire, lawyers like yourself and many other professionals. Now, in that scenario also, I will just start from a business. Now, a local business catering to foreign clients in Sri Lanka. So that is like a tourist who is not a resident in Sri Lanka. Say that I am, for example, if I have a restaurant, and if I have foreign persons coming and clients coming and partaking meals or living in a hotel also, I can charge them in foreign currency. that had been a permission that had been there from 2013, and that continues to be so. So the person who's receiving foreign currency as payment can accept it and can deposit into an account called the business foreign currency account. Previously it was known as the FIA, or the foreign exchange earners account. The second part of your question is, what about a person who's earning foreign exchange, I should say, from abroad for services that are given in Sri Lanka?
Just to further clarify, the query is largely because, as you know, Sri Lankans have a lot of IT professionals, brilliant minds. But they like to be based here, and we'll see if they make an app, or if they make a these are real life events. I'm telling you examples. If they make an app, or if they make a great product, computer software or algorithm, they might be paid $1 million, $2 million. Now, when this comes to their account, there is questions because the bank has to report to central bank, right? Is this because banks do question why are you getting this money and all that? Then this has happened to people, especially in the IT industry and other industries. So, what is the
well, actually, there are two laws, I should say, Charaki, because first part is the exchange-related law. The other part is anti-money laundering laws. So, Financial Transaction Reporting Act. And as you know, these two laws stand on their own, and the banks have to follow both. But I should say that the Financial Transactions Reporting Act, it's not restrictive, but it looks at the sanctity or the quality of the funds that are coming to Sri Lanka. Now, if an IT professional goes to a bank to open an account, then that IT person would actually be given a Know Your Customer or a customer due diligence form. In that document, the person should actually declare as to what their source of income is. After declaration of source of income, such questions will not be asked.
If it is account which he already had?
Then in that case, again, the banks are required to update the Know Your Customer requirements. Now, supposing if I open an account as a student, now even I have opened account as a student in the student bank unit in my bank, in my school. But now as a central banker, what I earned as a student, I mean, I earned nothing as a student. It's just that I put money that is given by my mother. But now if my salary comes, the bank has to question as to where you're getting this money from. So when the status of a person changes, there is onus even on the person to inform the bank. Then those questions will be limited and less unless the bank is suspicious. In the case of IT-related transactions and like
is it any professional IT?
Any professional, providing any professional service or so, the money can come to the business foreign currency account. It comes as an inward remittance. It will come. But whether the bank will question or not would depend on your updated KYC forms and your relationship with the bank, where you have given all the documentation to your source of income.
So such a person cannot receive such money to a local account?
Can. You can also receive it to a rupee account, but most people prefer to keep their income in foreign currency form and in the business foreign currency account.
Okay. We are running out of time, but we touched upon large area. But in short, can you tell me what should a person, other than what you explained, keep in mind in dealing with foreign transactions? Because you touched upon the money laundering law. That's a completely different subject we will discuss another time. But not to get caught to money laundering things, because innocent people do get caught between the crossfire, if I may say.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on money laundering, or anti-money laundering laws, I should say. But what I can say is that people should avoid getting into suspicious transactions, transactions which can be looked upon as being suspicious. So one of the best ways in which you can actually steer clear of being suspected of anything is to give your bank all your documentation, give the accurate information on KYC and CDT. The bank will do the needful. Not all transactions are suspicious, certainly. It would be very unusual if somebody is flagged up every day as being suspected or suspicious of conducting money laundering. So don't worry. Conduct your business and conduct your activities well. As long as you are in the right side of the law, you will be protected by the law.
Right. Pavitri Dhanage, thank you very much for those insightful thoughts on this Foreign Exchange Act. And but before we go, if anybody wants to ask questions, I should have asked this before I close, from the central bank or your divisions, is there public? Is there like a service that you all offer for public to go and clarify? Because it will be better than clarifying from a normal bank, from the central bank, because you get the answer from the horse's mouth.
Well, actually, the best source that one can find is the Department of Foreign Exchange website.
Right.
That is, if I may say the website address,
yes,
that would be www.dfe .lk. So that is Department of Foreign Exchange.lk.
It's a part of the central bank.
Yes, certainly it is a department of the central bank. And if there is a clarification, you can make use of the information there. And if you still have a clarification to be made, you can forward your questions to the Director of Foreign Exchange. That is, you can send it to dfe@cbsl.lk. That is the official DFE, Director of Foreign Exchange. DFE@cbsl.lk. He is the Director of Foreign Exchange Department of the Central Bank.
And you all will assist.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you very much, Pavitri Vithanage, again for joining Law and Order, and thank you for those insightful thoughts. We'll join again another time with much more things as we go on to discuss. Thank you for joining Law and Order. Thank you. That's Law and Order for you today. We'll join you next week with another program on Law and Order, with another important hot topic on law. And if you missed our show also, or if you want to watch our shows again, you can go to our website channeli.lk and go to the drop down menu, pick Law and Order, and then you can watch our shows all over again once again. Have a good night, good weekend, and enjoy the rest of the programming on Channel I.